Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to bring to order the school board reorganizational meeting for August 18th, 2026. First order of agenda is to elect the chairman for the school board for the 26-27 school year. So at this time, I would welcome a motion to nominate a chairperson for the school board. Floor is open.
I'd like to move to nominate Chris Burbridge for board chair.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Heather, call for vote.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbridge.
Aye.
Okay. Vote passes 6-0.
And now I turn the meeting over to our newly elected chairman, Dr. Chris Burbridge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tillett. Okay, moving on to the next appointment, we need to appoint a vice chair. So can I have a motion for a vice chair appointment?
I would like to move that we elect Chris Maxwell for the position of vice chair.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbridge.
Aye.
Vote passes 6-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next order of business, we need to appoint the different, we need to appoint people to the different boards, and so Artie, can I borrow this?
Yep.
School board members on the Poquoson School Board sit in on various boards and committees across the community. Some of these boards are, I'll just go through them right now. There's the New Horizons Board, there's the Poquoson Education Foundation Board, there's the Special Education Committee Board, there's the WHRO Board of Directors, there is the delegate and alternate to the 2026-2027 Virginia School Board Association Convention. There is the School Health Advisory Board. There's the Gifted Education Advisory Committee Board. There's the CTE Advisory Committee, and then there's the Safety Committee. Just to give you a little bit of background, last year, the New Horizons Board was filled by Dr. Melissa Bartlett. She's no longer with us. The Poquoson Education Foundation was Kristen and Ms. Jones and Mr. DeBose. The Special Education Committee was myself. The school board chair typically sits on the WHRO Board of Directors, so I would continue with that. The delegates for the Virginia School Board Association Convention are typically the school board chair and the vice chair. So, Mr. Maxwell, you are interested, that would be good. School Health Advisory, Mr. DeBose sat on that. Gifted Education Advisory Committee, Mr. Maxwell sat on that. And CTE Advisory Committee was Mr. Dowd. And lastly, the Safety Committee was Mr. Maxwell. Obviously, we have Mr. Cocomiglio and Ms. Gilbert, who are new on the board. And Mr. Maxwell's going to have a full plate, so we need to kind of go through the list and see who wants to volunteer for what. That being said, who would be interested in the New Horizons Board? And so New Horizons, Artie, could you fill us in a little bit on that?
Happy to. We are one of 6 school divisions that own and operate the New Horizons Regional Education Center. It houses a comprehensive career and technical education program, state-of-the-art. It's absolutely incredible. And also the Center for Autism and the Newport Academy, which all house students with special needs and that need intense services. The last part of New Horizons, certainly not least, is the Governor's School, which operates a very comprehensive, high-rigor environment for students who qualify for the Governor's School. The board meets every other month, and at one of the two main campuses, and facilitates the operations, the governance of that organization in the same way that this board does for Poquoson schools. Typically, each of the 6 divisions has a member of their board who represents them or their locale on the New Horizons Board of Directors. And as Dr. Burbidge said, Dr. Bartlett served that role, and Dr. Goodell was the board rep prior.
So, go
Are
ahead.
those meetings during the day or in the evening?
They're in the evening.
Okay.
They typically are 6 o'clock. Occasionally, there'll be a 5:30 meeting, but it's generally 6 o'clock.
Is there any interest? Okay. Caitlin? The Poquoson Education Foundation, Kristen or Ms. Jones, you're already on that. Are you interested in continuing with that?
Very interested unless there is anyone else.
Okay.
And yes. I would do the position or the alternate.
Do we need to appoint an alternate, or?
We have appointed them every year, but since I've been here, there's never been a need for an alternate to represent. The board actually has other members from the educational community, including this board, who, for example, Joe Cachemilia was just elected last week in our summer meeting to that board already as just a community member. There's no conflict to be on that board and on this board. However, the member of this board that represents this board on the PEF board is not a voting member, as I am a officio member. We attend the meetings and have input, but don't vote.
Could we put, I think we could be good with just Ms. Jones.
That's
Is that-
fine. You could put him as an alternate if you
Okay.
want to, in that he's already an elected board member. They elected him last Wednesday.
All right, Special Education Committee, I did that one last year. Come on in. Right here, this is Miss Gildow. We're having a pre-meeting here, so just have a seat. We're assigning members to different boards and committees. This is televised right now, so I'd be happy to do the Special Education Committee. Hey, Joe. Good, have a seat. You're right next between Lauren and Miss Gildow. Joe, we're going through and assigning members to different committees and things like that. You have been asked as an alternate for the Poquoson Education Foundation, since you're
Okay.
already going to be there anyway.
Right.
And Ms. Jones will be there with you as well.
Okay. Hey, Chris. How are you?
And we're working on Special Education Committee right now. Trying to catch you up, just so you know what's
Yeah,
going
sorry
on.
about that.
No problem at all.
My email is set up, but I haven't received the credentials yet, so I probably missed a few things.
Okay, that's fine. Is anyone interested in serving on the Special Education Committee? Okay. All right, and then I will do the WHRO. Chris Maxwell and I will be the delegate and alternates for the Virginia School Board Association. All right, School Health Advisory Board. Last year, Mr. DeBose did that. Artie, could you fill us in a little bit on the School Health Advisory Board?
Sure, that is a mandated board by the state. Every school division has a school health advisory board, and it's just as the name would indicate, it's a board of people serving the community that advise on health and safety issues related to the schools.
Who would be, is there any interest from it? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so Gifted and Education Advisory Committee. Lauren, Ms. Gilbert, are you interested? Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Maxwell, did you say you are doing the Health Advisory Board? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm taking notes also.
Okay, perfect.
So, Career and Technical Education Advisory Committee. Mr. Dowd?
Yes.
Are you, okay. And lastly, the Safety Committee. Are you? Okay. It's one of these things, if for some reason somebody can't make it or has a conflict, it's important that someone be there, just find an alternate to attend the meeting. That person can then report back at the next school board meeting, discussed at those various committee. Some of them only meet quarterly. I know like the special education. That quarterly, Mr. Dowd? Well, I think we have everything. So just a real quick breakdown again. The chair will be myself. The vice chair will be Mr. Maxwell. The New Horizons Board representative will be Ms. Osborne. The Poquoson Education Foundation member will be, I'm not speaking into the mic, I'm sure they're probably upset at me. The Poquoson Education Foundation representative will be Ms. Jones. The alternate will be Mr. Coach-Emilio. I appreciate that. I am sorry for. The Special Education Committee will be Ms. Osborne. The WHRO Board of Directors member will be myself. The delegate and alternate to the Virginia School Board Association Convention will be myself and Mr. Maxwell. The School Health Advisory Board representative will be Mr. Maxwell. The Gifted Education Advisory Committee member will be Ms. Gilbert. The Career Technical Education Advisory Committee member will be Mr. Dowd. And the Safety Committee member will be Mr. Maxwell. That being said, do we close this portion of the meeting? Oh, we have to have a vote.
Yeah, I would ask for a motion to approve the appointed committee and with a second. And
Yes. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the appointments to chair, vice chair, and the committees?
Yeah, I move that we approve the chairs as stated.
Okay.
A committee.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Graham, can we have a vote?
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mrs. Osborne?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Coach-Emilio?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert? Aye. And Chair Burbidge?
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Okay. So what do we do with all our spare time? Okay, well, that being said, we will adjourn until the 6 PM official start of the meeting. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to the first school board meeting of the 26-27 school year. This is the August 18th, 2026 school board meeting, and I'd like to open that meeting. First order of business is Ms. Gildow. Would you please come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
Yeah, I'll lead us in the pledge now. Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please keep standing for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you.
We'll have a seat and then you have a quote.
Yes. My quote for this meeting is, "The first step towards getting somewhere new is deciding you won't stay where you are." From J.P. Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gildow. Okay. Moving along. Ms. Graham, are there any additions and/or modifications to the agenda for tonight?
No, sir, no additions or modifications.
Thank you. Moving along, Section 4, recognitions. Ms. Purdy?
There are no recognitions.
All right, no recognitions. I guess we'll move on to the meat of the meeting, presentations and reports. Ms. Ide, for the instructional update, please.
Okay, good evening, Chair Burbidge, school board members, Superintendent Tillett, staff, community members. Tonight, I will be sharing a quick back-to-school update. Our new staff orientation week was an exceptional start for our incoming educators, offering a blend of professional preparation and community engagement. Throughout the week, new staff members were introduced to their colleagues, connected with essential technology, and enjoyed a guided bus tour of our city. They were treated to a visit to the town's museum, garden, and ice cream at Beans, of course. The Poquoson Kiwanis group graciously hosted a warm welcome event, making sure our new educators felt right at home. The week was not only about equipping our staff with the tools they need, but also about fostering a strong sense of community and belonging. And this slide highlights our wonderful Spark event that was this past Friday. We are excited to see what's on next year's session as Kelly Purdy keeps outdoing herself, growing it, and adding even more and more to the possibilities. Of course, like I said, it's not possible without Kelly. She brings together all of the vendors, the presenters, takes our feedback, the data, all of it. School improvement plans are all considered when putting this event together. So we really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Kelly. But we also want to say thanks to our presenters. Some are in here, some of you attended, our own staff, local businesses, community members. Those contributions make this event meaningful, and of course, the door prizes. They're really, really good. Lots of gift cards this year. That was great. Summer Academy updates. Our highlights here are that we welcomed 152 students from kindergarten through 8th grade with an average daily attendance of 121 students, nearly 30 more than last summer. So just meaning more came and they actually attended more often. Summer's hard. We're in competition with a lot of fun things. Our primary focus, of course, is academic growth, particularly in math and literacy. They engaged in hands-on activities to strengthen their skills in critical areas to continue to build that strong foundation that they received during the school year. We always like to thank the Poquoson Library, who plays a significant role in our program with their weekly visits. And additionally, we used some of our state funding to bring in another group who did a culminating activity. called the World of Possibilities Family Literacy Day, led by To Teach Global, which is a partner we've used throughout the year to help strengthen literacy and special education, specially designed instruction. Our Summer Academy would not have been possible without the hard work of our teachers and staff who dedicate their time and creativity. We want to thank our Summer Academy coordinator, Ms. Samantha Sheese, and our administrative interns who just really rocked it this year, Robin Clark, Catherine Dixon Schmidt, and Victoria Parker. And we also want to thank Mr. Brett Higginbotham for his work with our high school students in their credit recovery. I just have a quick update on our Wallace Grant. For those of you that are new, we have been talking about our Wallace Grant for a couple of years now. It's a leadership pipeline grant to support leadership development across the division. That initial funding of $50,000 allowed us to launch our Coach Leadership Academy, which focused on strengthening the leadership capacity of our current administrators, central office staff, student services, and instructional coaches. We're excited to announce that we have been awarded an additional $50,000 for one more year. This next phase will support the launch of our new Rising Tide Leadership Development Program, which will broaden the focus beyond those currently serving in formal roles to those who want to serve in roles. And it's not just about people who may want to be building administrators, but also just those who want to be teacher leaders, mentors, or learn how to advocate in general for continuous improvement. Ultimately, this grant allows us to continue to build a strong leadership pipeline from within, investing in our own people, increasing opportunities for professional growth, and developing leaders at every level in our organization. So we're very excited about that. We also shared this past year that we were awarded another grant called the Comprehensive State Literacy Development Grant. We just call it the CSLD grant. And that was about $72,000. The goal of this grant was to strengthen literacy knowledge and instructional capacity across all staff in the division while maintaining an intentional focus on specially designed instruction and improving outcomes for students with disabilities. As a requirement of the grant, participating school divisions, we had to choose a partner from one of their approved partner lists. And from that, we chose To Teach Global, who has a strong background in supporting students with disabilities. This partnership staff have participated in professional learning focused in areas such as effective co-teaching, embedding literacy strategies across content areas, data collection, the use of data to inform instruction, the use of data to write IEPs and accommodations, and strengthening our instructional practices to better meet the needs of our diverse learners. An important part of this work has been bringing the general education and the special education staff together around shared instructional practices and shared responsibility for student success. One of my favorite parts of this grant is between that and school improvement, offering our paraeducators the opportunity to engage in this work as well. So they've been able to attend professional learning on how to implement math and reading instructional strategies, how to collect data, how to implement an accommodation that might be on a 504 or an IEP as well. And that work is continuing still. Those grants are wrapping up, but we still have a few more things planned for the beginning of the year. But we know that work cannot end when this current grant concludes. Literacy remains a priority for us. Supporting our students with disabilities remains a priority for us. So we do plan on applying again, and they have announced that it will be a multi-year award instead of just a single-year award. And because we are a previous recipient, we get a little extra points on that rubric to help us out there. So we will be applying again to continue that work. And you'll hear a lot of policy updates. Mr. Roberts has the bulk of it, but I'm just highlighting a few that are related to instruction. So first, as you see, there's the SAT School Day program. We will participate in that, which is an opportunity to provide high school students with the opportunity to take the SAT during the school day. We already offer the PSAT, so this will just be a continuation of that program so that we can meet that requirement of either them having the ability to take it as junior or senior year. Now, we do pay for the PSAT, but we will not be paying for the SAT. That was not something that we've added to our budget.
I have a question about that, that SAT school day. Does that mean we're losing those students that participate in that will lose another instructional day? And is that a state requirement, or are we choosing to do that?
No, we do have to offer the opportunity in this policy for them to take it during the school day, so they will not lose an instructional day. It'll be counted as an instructional day for them.
That's a state
That is a new policy,
new
yes.
policy. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
And so as you can see in the next one, the policy 6-2.09, supporting students' financial aid, we're partnering with an organization called GRASP, which is a nonprofit organization committed to helping students and families navigate the financial aspects of post-secondary. And in particular, they will help students with that federal and state financial aid program, meeting those deadlines, how to fill out those applications, and all of the processes associated with the financial aid and financial assistance. It's just another layer of support for our students. Should also mention that GRASP will be present at the PHS open house, so all of our families will get to meet them as well. We're really excited for that. And finally, we're highlighting the change related to substance abuse and addiction education. We already provide a comprehensive health and wellness education to students at various grade levels. As part of this instruction, we now will ensure students receive age-appropriate education regarding time spent using electronic devices, including computers, cell phones, and other smart devices, and the potential for addictive patterns of use, which will be incorporated into our already existing health and wellness and help us meet this new requirement as well.
So I got a question about that too. Addiction in this context is addiction to like social media or electronic devices or that sort of thing. Is that correct?
The words included in the policy, including computers, cell phones, and other smart devices, and the potential for addictive patterns of use.
If we could just we'll have a question section after
Okay.
she gets done, so
Sure.
we'll just kind of let her get her presentation.
Okay, and so the school performance and support framework, or, the data that's coming, a little update on that. Of course, at this time, the VDOE is asking school divisions to review all of our data, the raw data, to ensure its accuracy, which we are in the process of doing. And once that review process is complete, the VDOE will provide additional information regarding the release of our official school performance and support framework designations and accreditation results. While we cannot share any official designations, we can share some encouraging trends that our preliminary data is showing, most notably, increased growth for all students, which is positive news for PCPS. Based on last year's results, student growth was the area which we stood to make the greatest gains. So we're especially encouraged to see the movement in this area. Outside of growth, our preliminary data indicates overall relatively stable performance. We'll continue to carefully review our data and provide the board with any updates that we have once they have released that information. Any questions?
Okay.
So, you want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
I have a few. I'm sorry I didn't take care of this beforehand. I'm still getting up to speed here. So, on the licensed personnel contracts, State Code 5-4.03, I noticed the change there from April 15th to June 15th. Why is that so late?
Well, that is actually going to be covered in Mr. Roberts' presentation. He'll have additional policies that he will cover that particular policy and specifically.
Okay.
Any other questions? I've got some. Is it?
We don't see the accreditation stuff going far into the future like we did last year, do we?
They are telling us they are trying to move that forward. They have moved some of the due dates for us to review in advance. We did get a message that even late August, they would be releasing some data for us, not the school performance and support designation, but the actual raw pass rate data. So we will most likely in September be sharing that with you, and we are hoping in October to have the actual designations, which is much sooner
Yeah, I just know last year
yes,
that they kept pushing you guys further and further down the road, and I want to bring it.
I will say that they listened and they acknowledged that of course many school divisions said that didn't work well for us, and so they are planning to do that sooner.
I just wanted to thank you for highlighting the one policy that I was actually also going to call attention to specifically in instruction, the substance abuse and addiction as related to time on the electronic devices.
Yes.
You know, as a school board, I would say almost in the recent time, most of the emails that we hear from are concerning time on Chromebooks and technology. And I think all of us take those very seriously. And while I know this does not go as far as specifically to speaking to that, it certainly addresses the overarching times of today, which are, you know, our students need to be aware of the time that can be dumped into these electronic devices that is lost time forever.
Yes.
So thank you for calling attention to that.
And
I know it was a state policy, but
Sure.
it's one I really like. So.
Well, and we actually found the data in our local needs assessment that parents had expressed that, our staff and our students. And so all of our administrators have been planning ways to ensure more hands-on engagement that reduces the requirement for technology. And at Spark, a lot of our sessions were geared towards that. So we are supporting our teachers to be able to make that move and feel comfortable. You know, sometimes we swing certain ways and we're going to find the center again.
Thank you very much for that.
Would it be helpful to the public to maybe title that substance abuse, like distraction and addiction education, or, I don't know, I just feel like adding the word distraction might clarify that a little bit. I'm just concerned about what the public might think about.
That is directly from our attorneys who created this
Sure.
policy and used the state legislation to create it, but we can certainly consider that.
Yeah, let me, this may be a good time to go ahead and especially for new board members. This happens every year at this board meeting where our attorneys go through all of the work that the General Assembly has completed, and they send us a comprehensive adjustment updates to our own policies. When the attorneys adjust our policies, they're adjusting it on the basis of legal action, generally action from the General Assembly in a new or amended statute. So I would caution the board, as I have every year, to be careful, even with subtle word changes, to try to change a policy that is your policy, but it is advised by our attorneys because they speak in legalese, and sometimes the word may and shall and should and it means something legally that we may not completely understand. So I would just, this is the exception to policy changes. When we bring policies to you or you all bring policies for review, those are generally your policies, and then we will wordsmith it and then run it by the attorneys to make sure that it doesn't conflict with any law. But in this case, all of these policies have been vetted and recommended in their current form verbatim from our attorneys. So I would caution any wordsmithing or changing. If you do have one for us to look at, just let us know and we can go back and see if it changes anything legally by any recommendations you may make. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Hyde? Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Moving on to the operational update, Mr. Roberts. I feel like we'll have a lot of questions for him. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, good evening, members of the school board, Superintendent Mr. Tillett, staff, and community members. It was a short but seemed very plentiful for operations type summer this summer, and as it normally and always is. I wanted to start off with a very bright slide, in my opinion, just due to the fact of the last two times I've been up here at the first school board meeting and presenting this slide, these numbers were a lot larger. And I put something that we put a lot in the slide since we did the comprehensive compensation study a year or two ago, the recruit, retain, and grow, because I really do believe because of those efforts that you guys support it in the city, that we're here with smaller numbers, and that's kind of what we want to see. That means we're retaining our staff. So we only had 12 new teachers this year that we hired, 16 overall. So as I go down through here, it'll kind of make sense. We did take two of our current paraprofessionals from last year, and they moved to teachers. We always love seeing that. We do have 9 new paraprofessionals in various buildings, 3 new classified staff, 1 new bus driver. She'll be in training, so right now we've got her kind of working as a bus aide as she gets those hours logged. And one of the prouder things on the sheet, we have 12 PCPS graduates that we have hired in this process. Out of the 20-some that we hired, that's phenomenal. I mean, again, that's that recruitment and retainment there at practice. We do have 6 current vacancies, 2 speech-language pathologists, an adaptive SPED at PES, a general SPED position, a bus driver, and a bus assistant. So that's a selfless plug. Anybody knows anyone, we're still hiring. All of our teachers that we have signed up so far are licensed, except we do have the long-term sub, but that's just one in the whole division. So I think that's a really good spot to start us out in. And of course, all the newly hired staff are submitting their paperwork to VDOE for their licensure status. We've reviewed all of those, and we're pretty confident we're still going to be that licensed staff when we get those back. All right, like I said, very busy, and I know this is not a comprehensive list. There's a lot of preventative maintenance and other things that are small that I just didn't want to waste a lot of reading time on. But some highlights that I do want to mention. At the high school, we've installed an upgraded fire alarm system that we've done in each of the buildings, so we're kind of closing that loop. We expanded one of their classrooms for the adaptive space, so basically we just knocked out a wall. Our road bump was we didn't understand that when we started chipping away at the wall, it was a glass wall in the middle of drywall. So that was an experience for all of us that day. But we got through it. It's together now in one room. All the hallways and commons areas, I don't know if you've been able to walk the high school building, but it looks phenomenal. I'm so happy with the paint. It really gave it a facelift and just a positive feeling walking through the hallways now. Windows wrapped and installed. The tennis court, I've got a slide on that in just a minute, so I'll save that one. Roof project was complete. We had the punch items done the other day. We couldn't be happier with that. PMS, if you've been in there, especially the open house today, you've seen kind of our lifts and stuff towards the gym. The gym is actually complete as far as the duct work and insulation work that needs to happen in there. So that space will be ready day one. They're just welding a few supports for the rooftop unit that will go on top. And as soon as that happens, they'll be clear and free for the first day of school, so parent drop-off is not impacted. So very excited to see that one finished, and that'll be the first time that gym floor relaxes because now it will have AC blowing on it. PES, a lot of different things were going on there. One thing to mention, we did have to replace 2 hot water heaters in the kitchen area that had basically fallen apart, literally. So really happy to get that job completed. And PPS, the biggest thing when you go to the open house, you'll see our new PA systems, which is interconnected to these digital signs that read a clock, the date, and can have some ticking, information that go across it. So very happy and proud to get that upgrade completed. And I would, kick myself if I didn't say our maintenance staff only has 5 guys. And I'm telling you, what they do is incredible. They're easy to work with, hardworking guys, very knowledgeable, and they get a lot done with a short staff, basically. Our IT staff the same way. They've got 4 guys. And not only do they take care of our school needs, they take care of the city too. So kudos to both of those staffs. Couldn't be happier and prouder to have them part of our team. All right, some pictures. Upper left corner, that's the roof. That picture really doesn't do it justice if I'm not suggest you walk up on a roof, but if you ever get to see a drone footage, and we're looking to hopefully redo that to put it on the website, it's a world of difference. I mean, you could pick up the grains of asphalt from the old roof anywhere you step, and now it's this nice, you gotta wear sunglasses, bright white, continuous coated, really good material that has kept the water out of the school. So really proud of that project. Next 2 photos at the top illustrate what work is being done in the gym at the middle school for the new HVAC system. You can see those ducts being wrapped in that white insulation. There's the 2 new hot water heaters in the elementary school, and then the bottom is the tennis court getting poured. That happened earlier last month. Probably one of the most unique processes I've seen done. It's a post-tension concrete system, so what that means is there's a grid of, it's like a PVC type flexible material, and inside that, those tubes that make a square grid all the way across, it's packed with grease, and it has tension cables. And through the curing of that concrete, multiple times they went and put more tension and more tension and more tension. And the reason why we selected this solution was it supports itself. So no matter, I mean, it will float and support itself. It doesn't matter what the subground is doing, it just remains stable because of those post-tension cables all the way through it. So very unique. We're so happy this company put in a proposal, and it comes with a 50-year warranty. So really happy, and I'm really excited. The fencing should be done this week. And the concrete curb, if the weather holds, it's not looking good right now, but the concrete curb will be poured around the perimeter of it. We're going to get some ramps for ADA compliance and stuff built into the gates on either side, and then once it gets painted, it'll be finished. So I'm hoping October and winterish, we'll see some tennis being played. So really happy with that project. All right, so 22 policy updates, and Mr. Tillett kind of stole my thunder a little bit. Just to kind of reemphasize what he was saying, he's 100% exactly correct. This happens each year, and it's based on Virginia codes that have changed that require us to make the changes as well. Now, my next slide will kind of go off of your question from earlier about the continuing contracts, because there's a one line in there, and that's basically the only thing that the attorneys have heavily suggested, but it's not a requirement. So that's a little bit of room that we could discuss there. But the rest of it is law. We'd be breaking the law not to include that. In your packet, the reading file, it does give you a breakdown in red letters of the changes, amendments, if you will, to our policies. I'm not going to bore you and try to go through these line by line, but if you have questions, we can definitely discuss for clarity. Again, it's not much for debate, but definitely can answer any question that you have. But, they have a broad range. Last year, I think there were 13 updates. This year, it's 22. So pretty comprehensive, but some of them were just, one word here. I know the policy on the calendar, they went away from the verbiage of just saying Labor Day because it's kind of a moving target now. And they just changed it to September 1 that you can't start, but 2 weeks prior to that for the school year. So some are one word, some are a whole section. It just depends. So highly suggest you look through those. All right, to that point, the one question we had about one of the updates was about the continuing contracts. And just to kind of put it simply, around the whole state, June 15th is kind of the big date. It has been for a little bit. A lot of school divisions with the gentleman's agreements about, when you can transfer or not without permission from your superintendent to be released for the next school year. It kind of has ebbed and flowed, but everybody's looking at that June 15 mark as kind of a standard. The only change really to the policy really dealt with the school board having to give that notice to the teachers, by the 15th that, here's your assignment and your salary. Our policies also say by the 15th that, after the 15th, basically, you would have to ask for permission as a teacher. That's been longstanding. If you're wanting to go to another school division to teach, you would have to get released by the school board that you're currently employed by us. So it all kind of creates that framework around the 15th because it's kind of the standardized date. And a lot of that is not, it has to be the 15th. It can be before. We can release contracts before that, with the salary information and everything. And definitely a teacher can come and say, hey, I want, to let you know that I'm no longer going to be with you next school year before the 15th. That's just kind of the date that the state said we're going to put the pin in it. Okay?
Yeah, just for some historical background on that, we used to do that actually in February. Now we're talking going back to the 90s now on this, but we used to do it much earlier, and that gave our personnel time to kind of plan, and it also gave the school board an idea of how they looked personnel-wise because they asked the teacher for a commitment earlier as well. So I'm not questioning the date of June 15th on the back end. I'm just wondering why we're moving it back even further, even though we had April, and like I said, before that, it was February. So I guess I just don't know why we can't or shouldn't do it earlier?
Yeah, well, this is, like I said, just the cutoff date. We still do the head count where we send out the form in that time frame you just mentioned to all staff that kind of make them say, I'm returning to my current position, I'm undecided, or, I plan to not return or retire. So, and there's lines on there that could serve as their resignation if they check the right box, or if they just want to talk, they don't know what they want to do, that kind of gives our admin, like you said, the heads up to try to see what we can do about that. So we still do that process
Yeah,
early.
so the form goes out, but the contract, they don't get until
Correct.
4 months later, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends, again, that's something that we can control, that's the drop dead date.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All righty. All right, much like the annual, changes to policy, those policies then in turn, will have to be reflected in our student code of conduct. So if you look down through all these bullets, a lot of those are policy updates, and the other ones are things like calendars, testing calendars, and things of that nature that will change annually anyway. So Kim and Tavo did a great job, piecing this together. That's another thing you see in your packet as a ring fall in red to see the new sections or updated sections. Very few updates to the state discipline codes. Usually that's pretty heavy. I didn't notice too many this year, so that's a good thing. But other than that, just a lot of things dealing with the policy updates that you've already seen. Okay. All right, transportation update. We do have 16 bus drivers. I think that's 3 up from last year, so that's a good sign. We do have 5 bus aides that remain the same. Like I mentioned, we have the 1 new driver in training. She'll be doing some aiding for us until that gets, complete. 1 substitute driver as always. We have updated all routes during our Spark Day. The bus drivers and aides met in one room all day and took care of all their in-service needs. We did update some routes, just little wrinkles here and there to make it safer and more efficient. And then we had them go out and drive those routes. So they were already familiar and talk with their aides and kind of give us any feedback they see, any kind of hazards and things of that nature. So that was a good activity at Spark. Bus patrol, just want to put a reminder out there. We still have the stop arm cameras. We get data now each month of how many violators that we have. And it kind of shocked me. It was like 80 some the first month that we did it. I hope to see that go down drastically for the safety of our students and staff. And the surveillance cameras, I cannot attest on how great those are. We order the video online, it arrives to our account, and it's great quality, way better than any camera we've had on any bus. And we have the ability still to live feed in, and all that is free. I don't think there could have been a better program for us to choose for that one. And like I said, during Spark, we completed all our fall in-service. We'll have another one during the spring for all transportation staff. All right, safety update. There's just a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that a lot of people do, a lot of administration in the summers who 12-month. We get together and there's all these surveys and audits and checklists, and it's all for the cause of safety, which is the most important thing that we have to pay attention to. And this kind of gives us the idea of where our weaknesses are, what CIP items maybe need to be considered, or just some improvements in general that we need to undertake for the school year or beyond. So it's always a daunting task, but it's, like I said, it's the most important work that we can do. So we completed all those surveys from the division and school levels. Those are all updated. Crisis management plan was updated, and we even did a reunification kind of location tabletop there this summer as well. So really happy to be able to do that. And our safety committee will continue to meet starting in September. So I'll be sending you something, Mr. Maxwell, shortly. This was like every 3 years we have to do the checklist, which is the most comprehensive thing that DCGS and VDOE requires by law. Now it's an annual thing. And being so, I have to report things that we find on those. Now, I have to be very careful on what I put up here, and it's sensitive talk. I can't just say exactly what we're talking about, because that would kind of give away some things that makes us vulnerable. So you can see the list there. A lot of it was just little things like gang-free zone signs that we need to update, things of that nature. And then some things that are were suggested on CIP, like the generator needs. Those came up again. So I always enjoy these walks. We physically walk the buildings, the grounds. We sat with the police department, fire department, everyone as far as the building admin and division level admin, and we really pick it apart. This is the time that we're nitpicky and make sure that we get this right. And, we either classifies it something we're doing right now, in the next couple of months, or is this going to take some years just because of funding? So really excited to have that one finished, and the results that you can see is where we're kind of focusing in on. All right, playground inspections, this is an annual thing, and shout out to Keith Fye. He always hooks us up with his knowledge base. So we will follow all his recommendations, and he does a very detailed report. If you ever want to see it, I can send it to you. It's pictured presentations. I mean, this man really cares about our students, so I really appreciate the time he donates to that. We mulched everything with the certified chips, and our playground committee at the end of last semester, or school year, made the recommendations, and we did add that to the CIP, was approved by you guys there the last time we voted on it. So looking forward to what we can do when that's placed, and improving especially the footing of those playgrounds. So looking forward to doing that. I just kind of wanted to end, just another plug here for our open houses. We already had our middle school one today. I hope that went well. I kind of went when it was, before it started, about 15 minutes, and there was already a line forming, so that was a good sign. But if you don't know, there's the days and times for each building, and we look forward to seeing everyone there. All right. I think I've talked enough, but if you have any questions, I'm here for it.
I saw speed limit signs up on the weaknesses. Have we talked with the city about adding speed limit cameras to
Yes.
the area? I know that there's other localities in Virginia who are making lots of money tax-wise off those speed limit cameras. I'm pretty sure, unless the legislator just changed it, they're only allowed in school zones right now, or construction zones. So it could help the tax burden of Poquoson residents and protect our students.
No, I
looked into this.
Yeah, I talked to the police chief about it last year, and he actually had reached out a few years back and to pursue that, and I think that there's some qualifications that we just didn't meet for it. So I know that he's probably not going to let that go, and we'll definitely bring it back up when we meet. But yeah, he had investigated that.
I'm going way back
Yeah,
to
go
our
ahead.
vacancies.
Yeah.
So how are we supporting the speech therapist vacancies and the
Yeah, so of course they're posted, and then we're looking at contracted services. We're not going to let any ball drop on services for any child. But it's going to be a mixture of things until we can find that person to fill it. Yeah.
I
But you
can
can-
speak
Yeah,
a
go
little
ahead.
bit to that, if that's okay. We are able to provide all services with our current staffing in the way that it is, but we still need those additional staff to make the services better, right? But currently, as far as meeting caseloads and being able to provide services, we are getting that, but we still need these valuable staff members, of course.
I always have bus questions.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
you said we got 60 bus drivers, we're fully staffed, but we still have one, so that was an alternate, I guess?
Yeah, so we keep that open just because throughout the year things happen. And any time that I can get a trained bus driver, we're going to welcome them with, open arms. Yep.
Okay. And I've got a lot of questions, so you're going to have to bear with me here. All right, for the food service program updates, policy 4-4.1.
Right.
I'm just going to, I'll tell you what it says, but
Yep.
it requires annual reporting to VDOE of meal debt.
Yep.
Is that debt, fortunately, we have, here in Poquoson, we have a lot of generous citizens that have
We do.
always stepped up and helped with that. When and how are we going to report that debt? Because this is new, reporting this to
Right.
VDOE.
Yeah, so I'm going to contact, VDOE because we have like a regional rep and everyone just to see the timing on when that, we have that number, we watch that closely. So I just got to, get with them and say, hey, when do you need it and how do you need it? Because we have it ready. And you're correct, we've had generous donations, people just wiping senior debt. Some are very specific and some just say, hey, here's a chunk of money, just apply it how you see fit, so.
The problem, I guess the question I have is, if it gets paid, that's great, but then we're still not identifying
Right.
how many students we have that are in financial
Right.
need.
Right.
So, and
Sure.
how do we make sure we don't miss those kids?
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit. lunch or food services debt is a moving target, and it always is in every school division. It goes up and down every day. Sometimes families will get in the rears, and then we'll write a check, and that is cleared. So when we report this to comply with this new law, is going to be whatever date that is. And whatever number that is on whatever date that is what we will report. That doesn't really change our practice in that we're going to, first and foremost, we're going to make sure that every child is fed. And secondly, the debt that accrues from that, we will find ways to cover it, as we always do. And as you mentioned, because of the generosity of this community, since I've been here, every year, some generous member of this community writes a sizable check and offsets all or part of that debt. And that's just an extraordinary testimony to, the citizens of Poquoson. But this is a moving target, and I think without being, having sat in on the deliberations of this law, my guess is the state is trying to get their brains wrapped around what is the size of this cost. In anticipation of what, I'm not certain, maybe some new funding sources to help offset that. We're surrounded by school divisions that are 100% free and reduced lunch simply because their percentage of economically disadvantaged students meets that threshold. We're far from that, but my guess is the state's trying to get some sense of the rest of the school divisions. What is the need for subsidies in feeding children?
All right, yeah, no, it does. Moving on to, this is school year and remote learning compliance. This is 6-1.05. There's an updated policy that allows up to 10 scheduled remote learning days during emergencies, Department of Education guidelines. 10's a lot. My question was, how many did we have last year?
Ooh, I would have to go back and look officially, but
it was less than 5.
Less than
Okay,
5.
less than 5.
But
Okay.
I can't remember the exact
Right.
number. It may have been 5. Do you remember,
Yeah.
Kim? You might be able to pull it.
Yeah, she's pulling up.
Okay.
As a parent, I'm trying to forget those days.
We all
Because
are.
we don't get the snow days, but we get, just horrible weather and tides and,
Yeah,
a
a lot of water related.
I call them blue sky flooding days.
Yeah.
And so, I know you guys are going to keep up with that, but, that was,
Yeah, we track it. I'm sorry, I just don't have that in front of me, but
no, that's fine.
Yep.
And then, I think this has been brought up twice now, is policy 6-3.14, substance abuse and addiction education. It added gambling addiction and electronic device addiction. There are parents in our community that are concerned about electronic use, or overuse, I should say. And, I guess it's kind of a fine line between electronic addiction versus, kids spending too much time on their electronic devices.
right.
Do we have an estimate of what kinds of time through specific curriculum teachers are spending with their kids on devices?
Do you have any data on that, Ms. Iden?
No, we did talk about that and what platforms could be, that we currently have, that could track that. Oh, sorry. 5 days is what we're hearing, okay. But we don't have any current data that we can provide to you, but our technology committee is aware of that concern and looking into what it would take to track that.
In addition to that, I think it's wise to talk about, Poquoson Schools strongly believes in following the research, and then applying what's proven best practices. This is becoming, you're going to hear more talk about it, and we have committees that meet on this, and as we try to find that balance, because I think everybody would agree, and the research backs this statement, that there has to be some balance in the use of these tools that we're using. They can't drive the instruction, they are the tools to provide instruction, but they can't be the end-all, be-all to the instruction and have a healthy program. So the research, without getting into the weeds on it, is evolving, but it seems to imply the younger the child, the less face time they need with computers. And the older the child, the more balance of that use comes into play. There's not anybody at this table whose work does not require constant use of electronic devices. You all have your phones and your computers with you right now in your volunteer work. So we have to prepare children for the world they're going to live in their future, not the world we even currently live in now. I read an article, I think I've shared it with you all recently, that a third of our kids in the third grade right now will, according to this research, be in a career that does not currently exist. So we are preparing children for their future. Now, I don't think anybody at this diocese would assume for a moment that that's going to be not including electronic devices in some capacity. So our goal is to provide a healthy distribution of use of these tools. And that includes, as you know, we have a committee that's studying the use of AI, how we create guardrails to utilize this appropriately. And all of that has to happen in a balanced approach. And that's a kind of a long, drawn-out explanation of our work that's ongoing, and we've already discussed keeping the board updated as this work continues. And at some point, there'll be time for policy updates that we'll look at to say, what is our policy for use of these tools? The other interesting thing is, we don't even know what these tools are going to be. They're going to change, and they're going to change probably quickly. There was I won't get in the weeds on this, there's a guy named Bill Daggett, who's a kind of a guru out there talking about these things. He's been doing it for years. When he first started talking about it, the tools he was researching and talking about are now old hat. You know, it was when he first started talking about it, he said, and they're going to have your iPhone on a watch. Well, everybody but me in this room has that. We have to follow the evolution of this and make sure we're doing our due diligence in what the research tells us and what best practice is to keep our kids healthy and safe. And this is a good step, I think, from the General Assembly to make sure that all schools are educating children about the harms of excessive use of these tools.
I still have two more questions. In regards to the two speech-language pathologists, we're meeting those vacancies through contract services? Okay.
That is the goal, to meet them through contract services. We can meet our current caseload as it is, but we still need that to better service our students. But yes, we have used contract services in the past. We actually have hired one speech-language pathologist. If I'm not wrong, it could be two. I know we made an offer, but last year they were all contracted. And so we are competing with the contractors to hire.
This kind of goes eventually into the next budget cycle, as we start talking about, funds and things like that.
Yes.
And the last question is in terms of safety. I saw generator needs. I know that most of Poquoson lost power last week, Monday, I think it was. Monday. I know those are expensive because we have them where I work at. Right now, I think there's one at the elementary school, but it's dysfunctional.
Not functional.
It's not functional. If kids are at school and we lose power like we did last week Monday, that's
Correct.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's happened, and we do have our procedures in place to, if it does, but you're right, it's not a favorable day, we'll
Or
say that.
if it's in the evening, if there's an evening basketball
Correct.
game.
and we have the public present, then
public
yes.
there, and there's,
Yep.
obviously there's safety lights, but,
Sure.
okay.
Yep.
That's all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Last, Ms. McGilligan, for the financial update.
All right. So we've done all the questions, right? We're good. No more
Oh,
questions.
no.
All right. Good evening, Chair Burbidge, school board members, Mr. Tillett, and members of our community. Tonight, I'll provide a brief finance update on the FY27 amended operating budget, which is included in this evening's board packet as reading file item 8D. As a reminder, the original FY27 operating budget was approved before final state revenue amounts were available. Since then, the final state budget and updated VDOE calculation tool have provided revised state revenue amounts for FY27. The board also approved the FY27 pay plan update from 2% to 4% in July, so payroll could be processed using the correct salary amounts. Tonight's item brings those pieces together in a full amended FY27 operating budget. The next two slides show the net budget changes and how this increase is allocated. This slide shows the revenue side of the amendment. The updated state budget increased state funding by $621,165. The amended budget also reflects a $46,800 reduction in local funding. After that offset, the net increase for FY27 operating budget is $574,365. And on the next slide, I'll show how that's allocated. Lots of numbers. All right, so the largest portion of the $574,000 is $425,951, which supports the salary and benefit adjustments related to the board-approved 4% pay plan from July. Another $98,404 is allocated for instructional needs, which gives the division flexibility to support classroom and student needs throughout the year. The remaining $50,000 is allocated for technology needs based on FY26 spending, expenditure, and anticipated FY27 technology needs. Together, these three areas account for the full net increase in the amended FY27 operating budget. The detailed budget amendment that you have, which is included in your board packet, is reading item file 8D. The amendment incorporates the final state funding updates, reflects the previously approved pay plan adjustment while keeping the FY27 operating budget balanced. Staff recommends approval of the FY27 amended operating budget as presented. Questions?
I did have one question about the technology needs. Is that for equipment or services? Or both?
It could be either, just depending on. I know that we plan to upgrade a majority of our Chromebooks this year, so we anticipate using some for that. If you have more details.
Chromebooks that we're not going to be addicted to.
Well, there's that.
Well, there's still a replacement cycle that we
Yes.
have to follow.
They only last so long.
So can I follow up on your question, Mr. The Chromebooks, it was 300 Chromebooks? Or it was a lot. What's the cost to replace those?
I will defer to Mr. Roberts.
I don't have the actual
I mean,
number,
it's-
but the last I saw, they're around $250, I
Yeah.
think.
I think
is
it was
the Chromebook cost.
209,
Oh,
sorry.
there you
Maybe
go.
209,
She did
yeah,
the
it's-
order.
There you go.
It's, and I guess where I'm going with this is, the depreciation of those computers, they have a shelf life, not a shelf life, a use life,
Right.
and, they get beat up like my son's does. They don't last very long.
No.
And, the kids need them,
Absolutely.
but that's a significant cost
Yes.
that we have to
Budget for.
budget for.
And a cycle, yes.
So have we already accounted for those replacements in this 26-27 budget?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We have a formal process for pretty much all of our equipment where we manage the lifespan of the item, whatever it is, and then we have a phased-in process, so we don't do it all at once.
Right.
So we might do one batch of computers in 1 year, and then the next cycle. We do the same thing with athletic equipment, for example. You can't buy every team's new uniform every year. So everything has a lifespan, and then we try to balance that over a period of time of that lifespan so it doesn't all come due at one time. And so it's just kind of a budgeting 101 process in schools. You try to make sure you don't get caught short of needing an item that you don't have enough money to replace at that time. So Chromebooks are just part of that process.
There's also grant funding for those devices.
Okay.
We balance the grant funding with that as well.
It's just 300 units kind of jumped out at me when I saw the, disposal list. So I was curious what the cost was. So that's all the questions I have.
I guess my follow-up is that the disposal, do you recoup any money from the disposal of those, or do we pay?
We try to do as much as we can. It just depends on the condition, really, of what it is. There are some scrap values to everything that we're talking about, but, if it's less than a piece, you're going to get what you're going to get, but it just varies. But yes, we do everything possible to try to recoup what we can.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving along. Oh, my computer just, come on. Uh-oh. Moving along is section 6, public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment tonight?
No, sir, no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 7 is the consent agenda. For the consent agenda, we have approval of financial reports. Item B is authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with attached request. Item C is approval of personnel action. Item D is approval of minutes from June's regular meeting and July's special called meeting. And finally, item E is approval to dispose of surplus property. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Any questions or discussion about all these things that we've talked about? Okay, Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Cochimilio?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Moving along to other, let's see, what is this? Other matters for consideration. Item A is consideration of approval of the first reading of changes to policy manual and waiver of the second reading. Can I have a motion to approve item A?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion about this item? Okay, Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Cochimilio?
No.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote 6-1. Vote passes.
Thank you. Okay, item B is consideration of approval of the 2026-2027 Code of Student Conduct. Can I have a motion to approve item B?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion about item B? Okay, Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Cochimilio?
Aye.
Mr. Gilbert? I'm sorry, Ms. Gilbert? Sorry. And Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Thank you. Item C is consideration of approval of proclamation for Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. Can I have a motion to approve item C?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay. Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Cochimilio?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert? And Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 7-0.
Okay, last item, item D, is consideration of approval of the amended budget for FY 26-27. Can I have a motion to approve item D?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion about item D? Okay. Ms. Graham, the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Osborne?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Cochimilio?
Abstain.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Okay. Vote passes, how do I say that?
601.
601. Abstain. Correct?
Or is it 610? 610. I think it's 610.
Perfect, 610.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Moving on, item 9 is communication and/or other matters by the school board and/or superintendent. So, Ms. Gildow, do you have anything that you would like to, I know you weren't prepared, but we talked a little bit. This is your moment to,
Well, I mean, there's nothing really to say regarding the school matters because we haven't started yet. I would like to acknowledge a lot of our high school activities have started this month. Just off the top of my head, I know band, football, show choir, volleyball, and I'm sure there's lots of others. So I just want to say good work to my peers as we go into the school year. But that's all I have to say.
okay, thank you. Mr. Cocomiglio?
Just kudos on the leadership development program. I think that any development of our leaders in our community is a positive thing. Also, kudos on reducing the amount of turnover in the instructional staff and the rest of the staff as well. That's a good sign that we're moving in the right direction. And again, great job on hiring so many PCPS graduates this year. I like to see that. Those folks are very invested in our community and expect to see more good things from them.
Thank you. Ms. Gilbert?
Hello. Hi. I just wanted to everybody that helped support Spark a great job and appreciated the invitation. But a special shout out to Ms. Purdy and her team for all of the organizing. It was so well done. And everything from the student volunteers, I got to meet with Ethan and Bennett, and they were they were just well-spoken young men, and it was really a joy to speak with them. The sessions I was able to speak with Ms. Barnes and the fitness assessments in the state of Virginia. The robots. We played with robots. The women that put that on it was a lot of fun. And then also the transportation. I got to meet some of our bus drivers and bus aides, Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Robert and Ms. Sullivan. It was just really well done. It was a great day, and even the lunch was amazing. So just thank you for the invitation and really a good thing that our
Thank you. Mr. Dowd?
Gildow, welcome. Welcome to school board members. I'm looking forward to a great year. You guys have already put a lot of work this year, and I just expect great things.
Thank you. Ms. Osborne?
Kind of to echo that a little bit, I'm looking forward to an awesome school year and seeing how things move. I did want to say huge thank you to Ms. Winchester and the PHS staff for last week on Monday. As a mom who had 2 boys at the high school, when they stopped responding to me, it was a little nerve-wracking, but the communication was great from Dr. Winchester and also from band, football, just to know what was going on. So I really appreciate that as a parent, and I'm sure others did too.
Ms. Jones?
Yes. Same echo, really looking forward to a great school year. To all of our new staff, welcome back to our returners. Just to highlight a thank you, I saw up there the Poquoson Kiwanis and the Poquoson Education Foundation. As always, those 2 groups, amongst many others, but just continue to show up for our new teachers and sponsoring, and thank you for that. I think it's been a great introductory week. I think amongst others kind of ran here from the middle school open house, so it's just really exciting to get back in the building. And as Ms. Gildow mentioned, I know that the fall sports are getting in full swings. You just kind of drive through the parking lots, and it's getting busy again, but we're getting busy again. However, our maintenance and IT staff have been busy. So to Mr. Roberts, to our admin, to all of our folks in the building, even our teachers, everyone who has just not really taken the summer off, thank you. I know it is a consistent job all year, but there are some that are especially busy when our students are not there. So thank you for getting all of that work done. Everything looks ready to go. So I look forward to a great year.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell?
All right, I guess I don't get to go my preemptive
Yeah.
echoing, but I will echo
Yeah.
the sentiments.
You can come back anytime.
It was already said, but welcome to Ms. Gildow. I'm a former student, so I'm always going to call you Mr. C. Welcome.
Good to see you.
Welcome to Ms. Gilbert. Also, special thank you to the Poquoson Library and the two team for their work with the Summer Academy. Thank you to the staff for the Summer Academy. Our plug, we said already, the fall coaches and all the volunteers that make our fall sports happen. Thank you to them. I know they're here now. Thank you again to the summer maintenance team, Mr. Roberts, your team, the HR team for filling those vacancies and getting us the best teachers in the peninsula right here in Poquoson. Thank you to the IT team for all that you do to keep computers turned on that we are not getting addicted to. And a special thank you to Councilman Five for his work with the playgrounds. And then looking forward to a great school year. As a parent of 4, I'm really looking to have 3 of those kids out the door and mentally stimulated again.
I'd like to just welcome everyone back, all of the returning teachers and staff, especially the new teachers that are new to Poquoson. We're glad to have you. The 12 Poquoson PCPS graduates that came back to teach, thank you for supporting our community. Ms. Purdy, I want to thank you. I know it was you and a team that put together Spark, but there was a lot of really informative information that was presented. It was a lot of fun. The food was great. You did a great job, and you and your team did a great job, and I want to thank you for all your hard work that you put into that. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the tennis court being finished. I know that that's way more complicated than what I thought a tennis court should, but that's some serious engineering there. But other than that, just glad to be back and get back to business here. Thank you. That's it? All right. Ms. Graham, are there any other materials for board review?
No, sir, no more material.
Thank you. With that being said, I would like to call for a closed session. Can I have a motion to go into a closed session? Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do I read the? All right, so we vote. All right, let's vote. Ms. Graham, can we have the vote, please?
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Ms. Orsborn?
Aye.
Mr. Dowd?
Aye.
Mr. Coachemilio?
Aye.
Ms. Gilbert?
Aye.
And Chair Burbidge?
Aye. Okay. All right. Pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia, I move that this board go into closed meeting to consider the assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the school board, or for discussion, consideration, or interview of prospective candidates for employment. That's it.
That's it.
So we'll just go in there and it'll just be the school board. Ms. Gildow, you don't go in for that part of the meeting. So thank you for everything tonight.